What's up, everybody? It's your girl Nicole from Till We Get On, hashtag TWGO. Giving you guys an introduction to my new series, doing a little solo thing. A little something I like to call Bad Advice $1. Yep, Bad Advice $1. So, Reader's Digest version. Bad Advice $1 is a little joke that I've had running for, years now. That I would, have at work. Boxes, cans, kettles, cups, with the sign says Bad Advice for $1, and made a lot of vending machine money off of basically selling really bad advice and giving my opinions on things that people didn't see coming. Usually would catch everyone off guard. But I figured, why not take that same little format, since I've grown up just a little bit, and give it to the people, bring it to the streets, and see how this all works. But a couple of things that have happened so far this week that really caught my attention. And I figure, you know what? Let's go ahead and get it out. Let's just let it all fly, let it hang loose. So first up, the Electoral College thing and this recount. Oh gosh. I'm not a registered anything, and I normally try not to get too heavy into politics because I feel that no one group represents any one person, because we're all different. We're all across the spectrum. It just depends on the topic. So you might be extremely liberal on, let's say, education. Everybody deserves an education. Everybody deserves a chance to be able to take care of themselves. But you might be really conservative on, religious topics or moral behaviors, things like that. So I don't think, to me, there's never been you're Republican, you're Democratic. I really think that the whole idea of, there being a third party or independence really holds true to most people, which is kind of the shitty thing about Donald Trump, because he really did speak to a lot of things for a lot of people who felt like no one was saying or listened to anything they had to say for all these years. So congratulations, I guess, to Donald Trump. It's final now, and we all just got to accept it and move on and live our lives. But a couple things concern me with this. One, even though it's kind of quelled a little bit, the shitty behavior for people who feel like all of a sudden now they can, let their freak flag fly sort of shit because Trump talked all this shit. But have y'all seen what he's done since he's been there? I mean, okay, yeah, he picked some weird people, got a couple bigots, a couple CEOs and shit that he's put into his cabinet, but reality check, he still hasn't done shit for poor people. He still hasn't done shit or really made a move that's going to benefit any of the motherfucking people who are talking all this shit, who are hanging nooses and, had their memes of the noose being put around Obama's neck and all this other stuff. So what the fuck are you celebrating for? I mean, yeah, he's got 4 years to do some shit, but in reality, he's probably not going to do half as much of shit that he promised that you're banking on. So yeah, let's go ahead and let that go. But it's kind of shitty where you sit and look at the whole popular vote versus electoral votes. I mean, truly, I was no poli-sci major. I hated history. But it just kind of seems like it's pointless to have that system in place if it, is completely contrary to what we're all taught is the one man, one vote system that a democracy is based on. So I'm not saying we take it back to like ancient Rome, antiquity, where, your spear represents your vote sort of thing. But yeah, we got to do better, because it's going to turn off and disenfranchise a lot of fucking people the next go around, because it's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last, but there's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way to make shit happen. But on the other presidential shit, Obama turned a lot of people free, like this week. And I don't know if you guys actually check up on this stuff or pay attention, but if you go to like justice.gov, they have a whole section on pardons and clemency by president. So this is going back to as long as it's been tracked, and I think it goes back like maybe 12 or 13 presidents. But this week, I mean, like, a shitload of people got pardoned by the president. And the vast majority of them, just like his previous pardons, have been non-violent drug offenders who typically were first-time offenders on top of that, who were sentenced under mandatory minimums that came about with the war on drugs. And I'm not even going to start on that because that's a whole other show. Like that's some super ill shit. But it's nice that one of the last things he's able to do is that last push to not really right the wrongs, but kind of give those people who have proved themselves worthy a chance to go out and, you know, live the rest of their lives. You know, give them a new start as, you know, citizens again. I mean, yeah, you lose some of your rights. You still a felon, you know, all that shit. But hey, you're free. So take advantage of it, appreciate the freedom, and do what you do. But it also makes me worry for the upcoming administration. What does that mean? Because, I mean, by the numbers, Obama's given clemency and pardons to more people than every president put together before him. A lot of people will say that that's, you know, bogus because he's soft on crime and this, that, and the other. But, I mean, if you got, I mean, literally thousands of people who are going to spend the rest of their lives in jail for one thing when they're 17, 18, 19 maybe, and nobody got hurt. Come on, man. If it was your kid, you would have wanted them out a long time ago too. So let's just call a thing, and let's celebrate freedom, and let's thank the president for being, you know, a decent person, recognizing that the system needs to be changed. And hopefully at some point, mandatory minimums. Probably not going to happen, but yeah, maybe somebody reevaluate that shit and get that out of the way, because it's kind of weird because I work in a place where we have a judge, and I mean that I've known thus far, there's been no issues where there's been like a massive case. But at a federal level where there's like mandatory minimums, what the fuck's the point of having a judge if everything's decided by the prosecutor? I mean, your charges, the actual crime, all of that shit is decided by the prosecutor, and you're then sentenced based on the mandatory minimums for the charges that they throw at you. And ain't shit the judge can do about it except if they offer up a plea, you know, acknowledge or witness that you're accepting the plea, and that's about it. So yeah, mandatory minimums, yeah, that shit needs to be reevaluated and reworked like yesterday. Other thing, this Affordable Health Care Act, I don't know if a lot of y'all like follow the news and like read into shit a little bit, but with the whole Affordable Health Care Act, you know, there's a lot of little companies that popped up to not necessarily compete, but I guess to run alongside the affordable health care situation and kind of create a competitive space in the market space. And there's this one company in particular that every time I heard Donald Trump saying, you know, I'm going to repeal Obamacare, it's going to be redone, going to get rid of it, it's going away, it just made me stop and think, like, wait a minute. There seems to be like a real big push. I mean, I know a lot of people had their issues with it, but half of the people who bitching about it either had it themselves or probably need it and didn't qualify because maybe they made $12 too much a fucking year type shit. So miss me with all that shit, like kill that. But this one company in particular that I remember reading about, called Oscar, was supposed to be like the standout, like the bright shining star in the marketplace when the Affordable Health Care Act and the marketplace system went into effect. But what's weird is, as I'm sitting here looking at cabinet appointments and, you know, people that Trump is meeting with and his whole fucking family sending all these executive meetings that he's having with people coming in, which seems completely out of pocket. I remember his son-in-law is like one of the co-founders or CEOs of this one particular company, which, by the way, the company, I mean, it's a startup, so, I mean, they're going to lose some money, but they lost a shit ton of money. A lot of it's no fault of their own because laws and shit with the Affordable Health Care Act were just jumbled around and fucked up in efforts to get rid of it, and fucked a lot of these companies who are trying to help people at the same time. But part of me feels like Oscar's about to have a big boom. There's going to be a surge. And a lot of it's going to have to do with this whole promise to repeal Obamacare and get rid of the Affordable Health Care Act. So that's something we'll just have to keep an eye on. And hopefully I'm wrong, because I'm not real big into conspiracy theories. But it just seems pretty convenient and pretty strange that, you know, the guy who suddenly pops up and decides to run for president, his son-in-law just happens to be one of the co-founders of this company that would benefit from the Affordable Health Care Act or Obamacare being repealed, because then they can keep the marketplace in effect, and suddenly now there's pretty much zero competition because you're going to have to choose from one of these companies, and they actually offer pretty good benefits, and they're relatively low cost. Only problem is they target young people, which not really a problem because young people usually ignore the fact that they need healthcare, but they got to broaden that audience a little bit and offer it to everybody. But that's another day for another time, so we'll just see how that goes. Other thing that I thought about when I was reading the newspaper earlier today. So it is December 21st, which, for those of you that don't know, no, I'm not counting down to Christmas. I'm not counting down to New Year's, not for that reason. But the U.S. soccer team, the women's U.S. soccer team, excuse me, in case y'all missed it, they filed a EEO lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation or whoever they are. And basically they have until December 31st to straighten this shit out. But what caught my eye on it is one of the players actually signed a contract, and it's like mid-season over in Europe, but signed a contract to go play in France. And the guy who runs that league then started reaching out to all these other top players in the U.S. World Soccer leagues. I mean, like U.S. World Soccer teams. It's disturbing because on the one hand, it's probably the most prominent picture that there's still gender inequality. For people who don't believe it, who say that it doesn't exist, go look at the salaries. Go look at the money that is paid to the female players who generate way more revenue than the men in the last like 2 or 3 seasons. Versus the male players. You know, they get a base salary and the guys are paid per game. You know, they get a small bonus. The guys get a massive bonus, whether they win or lose. I mean, it's the structure is crazy, completely crazy. And I'm pretty sure the argument is going to be that they were created at different times because the men's league was started first and the women's league followed. Okay, fine. I'll go with that. But you already had one in place, so there's really nothing to recreate. No, just is pay to play is pay to play. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks, because if all of a sudden all these chicks take off and they're playing in Europe and suddenly there is no U.S. women's soccer team, holy batshit. I mean, will anyone really have an argument anymore about the fact that there's gender discrimination and that women should be paid the same to do the same job as men? I mean, it kind of just like, it throws right in your face. And if they fuck this up, because I think they're like under contract something through the end of the year and the collective bargaining agreement ends, whatever. And I guess at that point, the EEOC would just go forward with their lawsuit. But man, y'all can't shit the bed on this one. It's unnecessary. It's bullshit to not pay these women the same thing that you pay men. Especially considering that all things being equal, the men's U.S. soccer team hasn't won a world championship. Women have. So, I mean, come on. Let's just stop. Everybody just stop. let's just move on. So anyway, just a few things that I come across. Oh, and one other thing. So I don't know if, and I'm saying this as if, anybody's like really knows this show is actually happening. And this is truly just like me having a moment here. I was watching Netflix, and I know y'all don't see my cue, but it was just one of those things where, since I'm off today, I was scrolling through and looking for documentaries because I love documentaries. And I saw this one that says Love Me. I didn't know what it was. The little thumbnail looked interesting. So me being me, I clicked on it. I watched it. It's about mail order brides. So then I get this crazy idea. Why are there no mail order husbands? So I had to Google that shit. I had to. And lo and behold, there's actually a site. One single site, mind you, gender inequality, for mail order husbands. And it's called rosebrides.com. So I haven't set up a profile yet. I did cruise around a little bit just to check and see what they were offering. And yeah. I'm down with swirl. I'm all for like flavor combinations that haven't necessarily been thought of, but I had to do some more digging on that one and check and see. So stay tuned for a more detailed, in-depth expose report or some shit. But it's kind of weird. And I'm pretty sure a lot of it is just the fact that, a woman's a woman. No woman in her right mind is, well, let me back up. No woman that I know necessarily is going to pay a dude to be with her or pay for a dude to be with her. That's my people. But it did make me wonder as far as like what is it that men expect that, you don't find, or you don't feel that you're appreciated by women that are local to where you are. So you go halfway across the world and you find a woman who, I mean, not for nothing, is living in the best of circumstances, and you're basically her ticket out. Like, that is settling at its fucking finest on both ends. Like, geez, fucking Louise. But, yeah, we're gonna try this mail order husband thing and see how that works out. I mean, not like the Amy Schumer style mail order husband. Although that would be dope as fuck if I could like call fucking Uber Eats or Uber or, fucking Postmates and be like, yo, yeah, feeling kind of lonely tonight. Like roll through, drop off the D and it just shows up. That would be fucking awesome. But I know that's, oh shit, business opportunity. Put a pin in that shit. We'll come back to it. But yes, anyway, that was that. It was just interesting. It was totally interesting because you look that shit up like mail order rides. I mean, you go deep into the recesses of Google and very few repeats. But mail order husbands, it's like some weird ass, disappointing ass sites that come up that really just talking about mail order husbands not being around as opposed to an actual looking for a dude. This way you go. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. But anyway, say that for another time. But this is like I said, just an introductory sort of thing. This is not the official format of the show. There's going to be other things that happen. So I got my little list of topics, got some ideas. I'm going to bring in some guest ruckus bringers who will surely either rock your world or hurt your feelings. I'm not really sure yet. Maybe a little bit of both if I play my cards right. But stay tuned. We'll have more. This again has been Nicole from Till We Get On. And this has been Bad Advice $1. Until next time, check y'all.